Chair, wag po natin gagamitin yung pandemic as an excuse na hindi nyo in-increase yung benefit packages nun. Because during the same pandemic, in-increase nyo yung bonuses sa inyong executive committee.
Gusto
I think
lang namin malaman kung wala po kayong budget, would it affect the operations of PhilHealth? Hindi po ba ninyo maibibigay yung dapat na maibigay sa mga members ng PhilHealth?
Kung pwede po ninyong tignan case by case at baka naman pwede pa ninyong bonggahan ang pagtaas ng case rates kasi bitin po ang 50% increase para dito.
Honorable Kong Akop, we can assure the Filipino people that PhilHealth is financially healthy and that we can continue with all of our plans on increasing and enhancing the benefit packages po. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yung report, yung assessment ng inyong collection efforts para malaman ninyo kung saan dapat kayo mag-increase ng effort ko, anong particular sector. Tama po? Is that the correct? Tama, di ba?
Tama po.
Okay, so aasahan na lang namin ang pag-submit ng report na to.
Tama po.
Okay. Ang next is just a quick comment. Kanina pa po kayo paulit-ulit na nagsasabi na rest assured we will increase our case rates uniformly by 50%, X%, etc. And I've also been making a counter statement in the past that I firmly believe that uniform increases will not work. They do work for inflation adjustment purposes, but for purposes of really providing meaningful financial risk protection, particularly for the most important illnesses, you really need to look at these case rates case by case. Ibig sabihin, meron tayong mga sakit na talagang napakababa talaga ng case rates. At yon baka mamaya 1,000% ang increase na kailangan mo para dyan. So, mabibitin ka talaga sa 50% increase. Halimbawa po yung dialysis. Nagpapasalamat po kami sa inyo na malaking increase. But that was an increase from, I believe, 2,000 pesos. And it is now over 6,000 pesos. So that is a threefold increase. Hindi po ba? So 300% increase. So this is an example of hindi talaga uubra ang simpleng 30% or 50%. So yun ang aking hiling muli sa inyo na on top of uniform increases to address inflation, kung pwede po ninyong tignan ang, let's say, top 10 diseases or top 20 diseases, kung pwede po ninyong tignan case by case at baka naman pwede pa ninyong bonggahan ang pagtaas ng case rates kasi bitin po ang 50% increase para dito.
Mr. Chair. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Kong Stella, yes. In fact, I wanted to highlight two things. The first is, you know, ma'am, this 30%, this 50%, I know you've mentioned this, it makes perfect sense. So I just want to add 50%, 30% plus rationalization. Rationalization afterwards. Also, we're also constantly looking at the top 20 cases in terms of morbidity and mortality. Because again, we hear you loud and clear, ma'am. That's more important because talagang mas may efficiency yan eh. So, anyway, duly noted, ma'am. Yes.
Alright, salamat. And in closing, Mr. Chair, parang mahirap yata tanggapin, pasensya na po, Mr. Ledesma, na yung sinasabi po ninyo that we will do our best. Mahirap kasing tanggapin po yung we will do our best dahil yung ating current situation na napakarami po nating pera, napunta tayo sa sitwasyon na to because unfortunately, PhilHealth did not do its best. Tama po?
Noted, Mr. Chair.
You did not do your best, therefore, you ended up having so much cash. Ibig sabihin, hindi tayo nakapag-expand ng benefits in an optimal manner. Hindi tayo nakapagbayad ng ospital in a quick way. bagal tayo sa pag-introduce ng reforms. Yun ang mga dahilan, di ba? Tinitipid natin ang benefits, yun nga sinasabi ko, inflation adjustments lamang, rationalization, nahuli. Yun ang mga, we did not do our best despite the money being there. And in the end, ano nangyari? Kumita pa po kayo. Di ba po? So by not doing your best, you ended up being an investment bank. Yun ang nakakalungkot. Kaya sana po, at this point in time, baka naman pwedeng ma-recalibrate at sana po there is greater assurance that because you have so much cash in your hands, there is no excuse but to fulfill your mandate of providing financial risk protection to every single Filipino. So yun lang po, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat.
Duly
Thank you.
noted, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr.
Mr.
Chair. Kong Stella.
Yes, with the indulgence of Congressman Ray Reyes, the chair would like to recognize Congressman
Your
Romy
Honor.
Acop.
Thank you. Dalawa po yung lumalabas sa social media na kami po ay pinapartangan na may kasalanan. Number one, kasalanan namin bakit wini-withdraw namin yung 89.9 billion sa PhilHealth. What can you say about this?
I disagree. I don't think it's your fault po. I disagree.
Ah,
Hindi niya po kasalanan. Yan ang view namin.
Pwede ko po bang malaman para sa kalaman ng lahat ng Pilipino, yung po bang 89.9 billion, meron po ba doon contribution ng mga Filipino na naka-enroll sa PhilHealth? Para maliwanag.
Yes, Mr. Lim Siaco.
The 89.9 billion, Mr. Chair, ay hindi po nanggaling sa direct.
Hindi galing sa contribution.
Opo.
Okay. Yun ay galing sa government subsidy.
Opo.
Okay. So in short, dun sa mga binabayad na mga member, kahit 5 po doon, intact.
Yes,
Tama po ba?
yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. At yun ay nandoon pa rin sa inyo?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Now,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Pwede po bang i-assure nyo yung mga Pilipino na enrolled dyan na wala po sila dapat katakutan dahil yung status or financial status ng PhilHealth ay kaya pa naman? Kasi yun po ang lumalabas sa social media eh.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Kong Acop, Honorable Kong Acop, we can assure the Filipino people that PhilHealth is financially healthy and that we can continue with all of our plans on increasing and enhancing the benefit packages po. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. The other issue is that kasalanan din ng Congress kung bakit zero ang budget ng PhilHealth. What can you say about that?
Again, we disagree po. Like I said in my statement earlier, we go with the wisdom of Congress and hindi niyo po kasalanan yan po.
Gusto lang namin malaman kung wala po kayong budget, would it affect the operations of PhilHealth? Hindi po ba ninyo maibibigay yung dapat na maibigay sa mga members ng PhilHealth?
Hindi po, Mr. Chair. Having zero budget will not affect at all, will not hamper the operations of PhilHealth. And like I said earlier, with our plans to increase and enhance the benefit packages, hindi po maapekto po.
Thank you. The other reason why...
Kung Acop, just to clarify,
Yeah, please.
hindi naman totally zero budget. Ang
Zero subsidy po.
Subsidy,
Yes.
not zero budget.
I stand
Kasi
corrected.
medyo, yes, kasi po, yung budget po ng PhilHealth, nanggagaling po to sa 6 na sources. Tama po ba? Yung unang-una po dyan, galing po yan sa sin tax collection. Number two, 50% ng income ng government share sa PAGCOR. Tapos another 40% from charity fund like PCSO. Ang ikaapat, ito na po, yung premium contributions of members. At ang ikalima, annual appropriation of the DOH. At ika-anim lamang, yung national government subsidy. Tama po ba? So, just to clarify, wala lang po kayong government subsidy. But all the rest, nasa inyo pa rin. Tama po ba?
Tama po, Mr. Chair. I stand corrected. It's zero
So
subsidy
it's
po.
not zero budget.
Yes.
It's zero government subsidy.
Subsidy.
Okay.
Apologies po. Yes po. Very clear po.
Yes, Congressman Ako.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Some sectors na advocates ng health, what we did, what Congress did, was a violation of the law. Yung Republic Act 11223. Tama po. Why? Because of the provision na no portion of the reserve fund or income thereof shall accrue to the general fund of the national government or to any of its agencies or instrumentalities, including government-owned or controlled corporations. Yun po yung basehan nila eh. Attorney Santos, what can you say about this?
Yes, Attorney Santos, you're recognized.
Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Representative Acop, does the question pertain to the 89.9 billion transfer, Mr. Chairperson?
Because of this provision sa Republic Act 11223.
I understand, Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Representative Acop, but before PhilHealth transferred the initial or even the succeeding amount, Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Representative Acop, we were already covered by the positive opinion of the Office of the Government Corporate Counsel. We also have the positive opinion of the GCG regarding such transfer, and we have already consulted the Commission on Audit regarding this. And Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Representative Acop, our actions were based on laws, regulations, Mr. Chairperson. So with that, we are confident that all our actions are in accordance with law, rules, and regulations. Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Representative.
Thank you, Attorney. May I know if the subsidies given by government form part of the reserve fund or the income?
Mr. Chair, Honorable Acop, the subsidy of the national government is treated as premium income, premium from indirect contributors. And closing the books at the end of the year, natatransfer siya sa members' equity. Now, we set up already the reserve fund. And for year 2024, papasok dito siya sa surplus or excess, Mr. Chair.
Was there a part of the government subsidy that formed part of your reserve fund?
Mr. Chair, kung ikakalculate po natin ang ito, yung money from the national government, Mr. Chair, Honorable Acop, ay po pwede natin masabi na that money coming from the national government dito po siya sa surplus or excess, or po pwede rin natin po sasabihin na this dahil doon nga tayo kumuha ng binalik po natin sa national government po.
I am asking this question, siguro mas maintindihan ni Attorney Santos, kasi very specific yung provision of law, no portion of the reserve fund or the income thereof. Very, very specific. Di ba, Attorney? Yes. That is why I'm asking whether yung government subsidy na binibigay ng ating pamahalaan form part of your reserve fund.
Mr. Chair, Honorable Acop, Um, with your indulgence, anyway, may nag-file na sa Supreme Court, diba? So I think let's just wait. May kaso na po eh. So in fact, Honorable Mr. Chair, Honorable Acop, yung last tranche nga, diba, pina-TRO nila. But prior to that, may nag-file na eh. So if it's with your indulgence, antayin na lang natin kasi anyway nandun na.
I agree, Mr. President.
Thank you, sirs.
Thank
But
you.
in any event, I would
Thank you,
just
Mr.
like
Chair.
to answer your manifestation that not bound by the sub judice rule. So even assuming for the sake of argument that there is a case pending before judicial, quasi-judicial, or administrative, still, we can still conduct investigation in aid of legislation, just for the information of
Thank you and noted, Mr.
Your
Chair.
Honor. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
In any event, the Chair would like to recognize the last, but not the least. The Honorable Ray Reyes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Actually, most of the questions I wanted to ask were already asked in the previous hearings, but it bears reiterating, especially to assure the public, hindi po ba? There's a reason why we had this meeting right now, because we have to assure the public of some concerns that they may have, because somebody jumped the gun in making assumptions on what will happen sa budget natin eh. So, back when Congressman Acop said, you could rest assured that PhilHealth will continue giving out the benefits to both members and both paying and non-paying members. Will this continue, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Is it true also that PhilHealth has sufficient funding so that you may be able to continue paying the benefits and hospital claims?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
All right. Tama po ba ang pagkarinig ko kanina, Mr. Chair, that you have close to 700 billion pesos still at your disposal? Tama po ba, Mr. Chair, President Mandy?
The exact number, Mr. Chair, if I can allow SVP Renet to address the question.
Yes, Mr.
Chair.
Lim Siaco, you're recognized.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. The total assets of the corporation, Mr. Chair, is 628 billion as of September, Mr. Chair. And the investment portfolio or investable fund of the corporation is 489.5. Looking into the members' equity, again, the reserve fund is 281, and the surplus, Mr. Chair, as of October, is 150 billion, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So to simplify para sa mga nakikinig po dito at sa mga sumusubaybay, PhilHealth is liquid enough to be able to pay for any benefits of paying and non-paying members and to pay for hospital and clinic claims for providing such service.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Then, I guess the question that we need to ask is, I mean, President Mandy, I know you've only been here for 3 years, but I think so much of your team have been here, so they may have some institutional memory. Paano umabot, especially over the past 10 years, that no one of the PhilHealth board or the executive committee has even proposed to increase yung benefit packages? Paano, could anybody answer as to why for 10 years? Kung tama po ba 10 years or baka 7 years yan na hindi kayo nag-increase ng benefit packages, despite showing na if we will be looking at your statements of financial position and financial performance, is net positive naman po yata kayo over the past 7 years. So, paano po umabot na ganun? Bakit hindi nag-increase si PhilHealth over, hindi kayo nag-increase ng benefit packages?
Yes, Attorney Santos.
Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Representative Reyes, based on records, in 2019, there was a proposal to study and increase the case rates. However, that was overtaken by the pandemic, Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Representative Reyes, and PhilHealth focused on the development of packages to address the pandemic, Mr. Chairperson. So it was only during the administration or leadership of PCO Ledesma that the study continued and resumed, Mr. Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Chair, wag po natin gagamitin yung pandemic as an excuse na hindi nyo in-increase yung benefit packages nun. Because during the same pandemic, in-increase nyo yung bonuses sa inyong executive committee. I think that was 2021. If when during the budget deliberations, lumabas yung isang executive order where you availed on either the increase of the performance incentives or yung mga benefits for the executive committee. So hindi po maaaring na pandemya ang excuse kung hindi nag-increase yung benefit packages of the members, pero yung mga executive committee nyo na naman, in-increase nyo yung mga bonuses and compensation ninyo. Okay? But let's use that. Let's uungkatin na lang natin yan at a different time. We will get to that. I'd like to focus now on the financial position. Based dun sa BESF na pinadala, can anybody give us the definition dun sa liabilities ninyo, no? Meron kayong current liabilities sa domestic creditors and meron kayong long-term liabilities. Ano po yung ibig sabihin ng current liabilities sa domestic creditors and ano yung long-term liabilities sa domestic creditors?
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Lim Siaco.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. Kong Honorable Reyes, maraming salamat sa tanong. There are two classifications of our liability. We have the current, ibig sabihin, that can be payable within a year, and then long-term or non-current, that is payable beyond more than a year, Mr. Chair. Now, on the part of our financial liabilities, this is number one item under our current liabilities. This includes our ICS in course of settlement, meaning these are in-process claims, Mr. Chair. And of course, kasama rin dito yung mga RTS claims natin that the corporation is expected to pay, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Sorry, can you, for the appreciation of the public, ano pong ibig sabihin ng ICS?
ICS, Mr. Chair, this is in course of settlement, meaning ito ay claims received ng korporasyon and pinaprocess siya and then naabutan ng cut-off date, Mr. Chair. Ibig sabihin, hindi natin nabayad o hindi tumawid yung payment natin to the respective health facilities, Mr. Chair, Honorable Reyes.
Thank you. And then, Mr. Chair, what does RTS mean naman po for the appreciation of the public?
RTS, Mr. Chair, meaning return to hospital. These are claims mayroong mga for compliance or deficiencies na ibinalik ng PhilHealth to the hospital or to the facilities, Mr. Chair, Honorable Reyes.
So, yung RTS ay ito yung mga claims sa hospital na binalik ninyo, yet binubuk nyo pa rin siya na inaasahan ninyong babayaran nyo pa sa hospital. Tama po?
Tama po, Mr. Chair, Honorable Reyes.
So, Mr. Chair, kung ganun po, bakit po bumalik sa ospital yung mga claims na to at hindi na lang po bayaran diretso ng PhilHealth? The reason why, Mr. Chair, I wanted to go to this is most of the health facilities, both actually government and private, are losing confidence in PhilHealth because of your inability to settle the claims at a timely manner. Na to the point na yung iba, they're running out of business, nababangkarote sila kasi ang tagal either ng claims or nare-reject sila. Not only that, if they appeal also kay PhilHealth, parang what's the point of appealing to PhilHealth kung reject nyo na sila before? I think parang may disconnect po yata na kayo pa yung appeal court para sa mga rejected. So can you give us a greater appreciation kung bakit ganito po yung proseso?
Mr. Chair, Honorable Reyes, sir, to give you the committee the status of the claims processing, Mr. Chair, Kong Reyes, for year 2024 as of November 30. This report is extracted December 2, 2024, Mr. Chair. We received a total of 14,776,000 claims and we paid, bayad po siya, 12,617,000 claims, meaning 85.56% of the claims bayad po received this year, bayad within the year. Now, mayroon po still on process of 8.88% or 1,310,000 claims. And the one mentioned kanina na RTH representing 2.04% or 300,954 claims, Mr. Chair, Honorable Reyes. In other words po, this year, malaki ang improvement po ng claims processing po natin because even January, nasa 39 days pa po. Pagdating ng October, nasa 16 days po. And the average right now ay nasa 25 days po. 25 days ang processing po natin. So, meaning po ang ating constant communication with the PHA, Philippine Hospital Association, and the Philippine Private Hospital Association is parati po, very frequent, and we are discussing this one po in order for us to reduce the turnaround time in claims processing and ma-address po itong mga concerns. On the part po ng effort of the corporation to look into the claims po, we implemented through our PCEO and approved by our board chaired by Secretary Herbosa, this is what we call claims reconciliation po. And this effort, kumbaga, already on its way to reconcile po ang mga claims na ito, and we got already feedback from the hospitals and of course the big hospital and the small facilities po that nahahanap yung mga gaps in terms of information kung saan po yung mga claims po nila. And we are expecting that by next year po, tuloy-tuloy po to and palakasin pa po natin so that each and every claims of the hospital ma-address po natin. There are instances, Mr. Chair, Honorable Reyes, if po pwede po, that sa paghaharap ng PhilHealth at saka ng hospital, na-address po yung mga nangongolekta sa PhilHealth. Pero once nagharap po, yung claims pala ay na-return ng PhilHealth, na RTS ng PhilHealth, pero hindi ho na ibalik sa korporasyon. Hindi ho na request for consideration or nag-submit ng compliance on the return to hospital. That's the reason why ang instruction ni PCO Monday at saka ng CEO, palakasin yung reconciliation and engagement to the hospital, Mr. Chair, Honorable Reyes po.
Mr. Chair, to clarify, 14 billion ang kulang na lang.
Ang ating, the 14 million claims po to, number of claims count po. Yung ating in process po, nasa 1,300,000 claims. This representing 17.1 billion claims, Mr. Chair.
Billion na?
Opo.
Okay, billion. All right. Kasi baka akala ng tao 14 million na lang, but you have 14 billion pa to... Okay, so that's the domestic, that's your current. Yung at dito nagtataka at baka dito kaya din kumagat yung iba when they looked into your balance sheet na meron kayo daw na long-term liability of close to 1.1 trillion pesos. Okay? Paano na-compute yung 1.1 trillion pesos na long-term liability po na yun?
Mr.
Mr.
Chair,
Chair.
may we recognize Ma'am Neri, our actuary po?
Yes, Ms. Nerissa Santiago, you're
Thank you po.
recognized.
Thank you po, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Your Honors. Yun pong insurance contract liabilities, this represents po yung compliance to Philippine Financial Reporting Standards for na nire-require po ang korporasyon to recognize po yung future liabilities. Ibig sabihin po, yun pong future na in-expect na babayaran for the members ay i-discount po to the present. Less po yung contributions na marireceive from the members at i-discount din po to the present. So parang ang pinaka-purpose po ng insurance contract liabilities is for us to know kung kakayanin po ba ng set of contributions na marireceive in the future, yun pong set of benefit payments na babayaran in the future. So the fact po na mas malaki po yung nasa liabilities po siya, ibig sabihin mas malaki po yung in-expect na benefit payouts in the future versus po dun sa ma-receive na premium in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, then my follow-up question there. Kasi ang laki ng difference ng inyong current and long-term liabilities. Basically, 1 trillion yung difference. Gaano ba kahaba yung forecast ninyo na ito? Kasi if you say this is to account for future claims, gaano kahaba po ba ang forecast ninyo na ito?
Mr. Chair, may I? Opo. Yun po kasing requirement pagdating sa calculation po ng insurance contract liabilities is based on the contractual obligation po ng korporasyon na nakasaad po sa batas, ano po, considering na ang sinusunod po namin is the RA 11223. So, the fact po na covered po ang miyembro hanggang sa mamatay po ang miyembro, so yun pong pag-calculate ng expected benefit payouts for this member would be until the member dies po. So, for example po, age 40 na miyembro, kakalculate po yung probability na buhay siya hanggang kailan, and then yun pong kanyang premium payment will be until age 60 po. So,
Okay. Then, Mr. Chair, I would want to ask this question. Are you a health insurance or a life insurance?
Mr. Chair, health insurance po ang social
Then-
health insurance.
How come ang pagkwenta ninyo ay parang life insurance? Kasi po, kung ganito yung mangyayari, never will it come to a point na magiging positive ang net worth ninyo. Kasi sa sobrang taas ng lifespan, especially you are getting claim, or you're computing based on yung member contributions or members who are within a capable working age pa rin. They're quite healthy. Mahaba pa ang buhay ng mga yan. So if you're going to be computing until the time wherein they are not even disabled, they're not working, to the time na mamatay sila, and we are expecting an average lifespan of what, 72 years? Negative palagi yung negative palagi ang net worth ng PhilHealth mangyayari dyan. Baka you may want to reconsider kung paano yung pag-compute ninyo ng liabilities, kasi this is going to be for a life insurance type of balance sheet. Hindi to health insurance. Ang base ninyo sa pag-health insurance, baka maximum na nga yung 3 taon. You should only be computing based on your claims until the next year only. So maybe this is, Mr. Chair, kaya there's so much that is coming out in the media and the public na mali yung interpretation nila sa balance sheet ng PhilHealth is because mali din yung mga assumptions ninyo. You may want to redo this so that it better reflects the state of the health insurer, that you would not be using this, you would not be computing this through life, like a life insurance. I mean, why do we do that? Because you said that you are using the guidelines of RA 11223. Tama po ba?
It's the Philippine Financial Reporting Standards po, PFRS
But
4.
that's for a life insurance.
Hindi po, pati din po sa health insurance din po, bali. Dahil po nasa law naman po na bibigyan natin ng benepisyo yung pasyente hanggang buhay po. Kaya po yun po yung pinagbabasihan namin. Kaya meron siya benepisyo hanggang sa mamatay. Hindi po katulad ng mga health insurance. Ang health insurance po, especially on the private side, yearly po yan. So, this year, ang premium ay valid lang for 1 year kasi yung coverage niya valid lang for 1 year. So, kung hindi po siya magre-renew next year, wala na po siyang coverage. Hindi po katulad sa social health insurance na regardless po kung mag-renew o hindi po talaga nagre-renew kasi automatically covered naman po ang mga Pilipino. So, kaya po by contractual obligation,
Mr. Chair.
by law po. Mr. Chair, sorry.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Ledesma.
Noted po, Kong, on your comment, no. Maybe what we'll do is we'll confer with the COA, with the Commission on Audit. We'll look into this and then we'll discuss it with them and then we'll revert po.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank
I think
you.
That,
Thank you.
that would be a better assurance because if this is going to be the case, if you will be following like what a life insurance is, no way will it show that PhilHealth is going to be in any good financial health with this kind of liability, diba? Yet when you look at your cash position, you're close to 700 billion, diba? So it would make sense. Mr. Chair, I think I know that this is just a briefing anyway. At least what we wanted to achieve here is to assure the public that the benefits will not cease. They will still be able to avail of the benefits of PhilHealth. And if with the assurance also of the leadership of PhilHealth that there is going to be, we have the 30% across the board increase and then 50% increase in select case rates, which I assume you would study to be using maybe the top 10 or top 20 morbidity cases kasi yun naman yung talagang kailangan. And then with your reserve fund of close to 700 billion pesos na hindi naman mababang karote ang PhilHealth. Okay, so everything, yeah, I think that's it for now, Mr. Chair. I know this is just a briefing. There are still other things that we may ask from PhilHealth. We could just call them at some other